testing. I mean, earlier if we see API testing was not much in use, but now if we see, everything is getting connected. There are connected buildings, there are connected smartphones. So API is getting the root of testing everything.
Right, right, right. Okay. Now coming to Tarun, why you want to learn SOAP UI? Tarun? Okay. Varun, are you there? Okay. Vinayak? Trainer, just drop this Varun and Tarun because they both are offline, and Meenakshi as well, so that they can join fresh. And Vinayak, why you want to learn SOAP UI? Vinayak? Okay. Okay. So I think we should start now. Now let me introduce to trainer to you guys. In first I would like to share about Refer Me Group that you have seen that we are not following a traditional technical institute pattern that once you have seen that anytime you just give a call to any technical institute and ask for any of the ABC tool, like even you ask for a Roadrunner or a Tosca or any tool you ask that I would like to join, their batch has just started. You can go and join, which means they just cheat the candidate and they start the batch with any of the reasons, right? But in Refer Me Group, uh, we do not do any of the tool or technical workshop on a regular basis. We do it on demand basis, whichever is going on in the market and whichever is highly demanded. Apart from that, whichever is raised by the Refer Me Group members that you need to start workshop on these topics or these tools, right? So in Refer Me Group, you will find that kind of difference. First thing, second thing is that any of the trainer, I can bet upon any of the trainer you can pick from Refer Me Group who is giving a workshop, has a tremendous knowledge and has proved himself in that technology. Only then we consider the guy to give a training. Like I say, recently today we have done Unix and Perl workshop. So the trainer has that kind of preparation. He has resigned from the organization, and when client got to know in which he was working, so client was about to scrap the project because he has resigned, and it was a project of 350 resources. So company has resumed him just only because of this reason. Today we have done Roadrunner. Roadrunner trainer has feedback to me that he has trained more than 350 guys in Roadrunner, and then we have considered him as a trainer for Roadrunner. Now coming to SOAP UI trainer, I will not take a name or organization he is working, but he has given more than 700 hours of a workshop on SOAP UI. He is not only called in India at various locations, but also outside India he is called on special demand to train at corporate and as well as a freelancer to give training on SOAP UI. He has a knowledge not only in SOAP UI but Selenium. He has worked upon Loadrunner, JMeter, right? He has worked upon QTP. So multiple tools he has worked upon. Selenium, why he has opted, because I asked him to first train on SOAP UI because that is one of the demanded tool right now. So trainer, now the ball is in your court. You can start. If anyone else is about to join, I just check. Right. And before starting, I would like to appreciate you guys that you have taken a decision on Saturday to come out from to come out and take an initiative for yourself to attend the workshop. So this was all from my side. Trina, now you can start. Sorry.
Thank you so much, Nitesh. So first of all, I would like to thank Refami for giving me this opportunity to share my knowledge. And I can say that I'm proud to be a part of the Refami trainers group. So apart from imparting the regular trainings that I do, so I'm also I work on real-time projects. So this session that we will do will typically it will not be a kind of only a training you can say. So it will be a kind of I'll be sharing my experiences with the tool as well. So and this overall course would you can see that we will try to make it kind of a workshop wherein you will be also working with me and you can ask questions anytime during the session. So for today's session, of course, there will be a Q&A session which will be at the end. But once the regular courses start, we can have questions anytime. Okay. Uh, so so typically, okay, this talking about the agenda for today. And of course, I would like to, as Nitesh mentioned, I would really like to thank you for taking out time on a Saturday uh, to listen to me and for this SOAP UI session, demo session. So thank you so much for joining in. The agenda for today is these things that we will start with first the introduction of SOAP UI and about this course. We will look at the course objectives, that what are we intending to achieve after doing this course. Then about the detailed course outline. So what are the different things that we are going to learn in SOAP UI from this course. Then we will also look at some of the concepts today, that what are web services and a small introduction to SOAP UI, and then creating a SOAP UI project. Okay. So creating a SOAP UI project, and then after that we will see we will discuss about the questions that you may have. So there will be a Q&A session followed by the SOAP UI session, demo session. Okay, so let's get started. Also, in the meanwhile, if you have any questions, so you can ping in the chat window. Okay, so as we already discussed in the beginning, and some of you some of us were talking about what are the benefits and why you will like to join this SOAP UI training. Okay, so I would like to say that this is a specialized training, customized training, and this is for any of the software tester who would like to build their career with the SOAP UI and with the test automation skills. So SOAP UI is a tool that can be used to automate, as you may know, the web services, right? So web services testing is nowadays gaining more popularity as web services are getting very popular, and so that is why the need of web services testing is also increasing day by day, right? So if we know SOAP UI or similar tools, and if we know how to test the web services, then of course we will have an edge as a tester. Okay, so apart from manual testing, of course we can learn the concepts of web services and APIs and doing the API testing, right? And SOAP UI is a very popular tool to test the web services, right? So as we go through the course, and once like we will be done with this course, so after completing this course you will be able to identify first of all that what is web services testing. So we will very deep dive into what is web services testing and what are the different types of web services and why to test them and how to test them and all this stuff. So we will look at SOAP and REST in detail. and as well as, I mean, REST will have a JSON as well, right? So we will see JSON, SOAP, REST, web services, all the different types of web services. Then we will identify the components of SOAP UI. So we will look at the tool SOAP UI and how these can be implemented. I mean, how the web services can be done with the SOAP UI tool, right? And then we will try to create a project, a SOAP UI project, and of course we can create a basic SOAP UI project, and then we can create an advanced SOAP UI project as well. So then we will also look at creating some of the frameworks. So one of that framework will be the data-driven framework. So we can work with the external data using Groovy scripting in SOAP UI. And we can replicate some SOAP UI Pro features in SOAP UI. So there are actually two versions of SOAP UI. One is the SOAP UI open source, and the other one is the SOAP UI Pro. So the SOAP UI Pro is a paid version, and there we have much more features compared to the open source. But if you know Groovy scripting, so you will be able to, in fact, most of the features that are there in the SOAP UI Pro. So by Groovy scripting, we can do them in SOAP UI open source version as well. So we will learn doing those stuffs also. So for example, if you say that reading from Excel, okay, so reading from Excel is supported in SOAP UI Pro and not in SOAP UI. Okay, but if we do some Groovy scripting, we can read an Excel file in SOAP UI also. So we can create a data-driven testing in SOAP UI open source as well. So we will learn Groovy scripting, and we will see how this can be done. And I would like to tell you that even if the people, some of the people who are not from the programming background, or I mean, they get scared when, so usually it happens with manual testers. So when we are in testing and from along we are doing manual testing or stuff, so it is at once like it is difficult to get into programming and coding and all. But I would like to tell you that SOAP UI a tool is a very I mean, it's a simple tool, and it's not like too much of programming knowledge is not required. So unlike Selenium, wherein everything is code, so here you will see that there are in SOAP UI we have different SOAP UI elements which we can use to do most of the stuff, right? But again, so Groovy is also essential, because with Groovy, some of the things that may be tricky or that may not be directly possible with the SOAP UI open source tool, so that you can do with the uh, Groovy scripting, right? And we will learn the Groovy as much as it is needed for the SOAP UI. So Groovy in itself is very big, so we will not go into too much of programming. So we will only learn those stuff that are specific and that are required for the SOAP UI. And believe me that those are very easy stuff. And of course, I'll be sharing those code with you as well. And you will yourself create some of the code, and in some of the assignments that you will get. So most of the uh, common scenarios that will use Groovy scripting, and most of the Groovy scripting that code that will be needed. So I think that will cover almost 90% of your requirements that you will have, and I'll be sharing those. Okay. Then apart from this, our objective is that we will also load test our using the SOAP UI. So we can load test using the SOAP UI. So first we'll learn that what is a performance test. So we'll learn performance testing concepts, and then what are the different strategies that we can do in SOAP UI to do an actual load test of APIs, right? How we can prepare the reports, and how we can interpret those reports. So those are also important if we are doing the load tests, right? Then security testing your application by running a security test scenario. So the security testing feature also comes with SOAP UI. So we can actually do the vulnerability scans, and we can do different types of security tests as well with SOAP UI. So we will also see how to achieve this. Okay, I believe there was a question. Will you cover how to script in Groovy and include it in the data-driven framework? Yes, of course. So as we discussed, we will be doing this data-driven using Groovy. Sorry, and I'll be showing you that how you can read it from Excel and how the requests and responses can be manipulated using Groovy. Okay. Now, eligibility for the course, who should attend? So basically, there is no such prerequisite needed for this. I mean, no, not much. And you should be, I mean, any software testing professional or any aspirant who wants to do the testing of APIs, so he can join this course. And it can be joined by manual testers, managers, software test engineers, and software engineers as well, developers. So anyone who wants to test the web services using SOAP UI can join this course, right? And there is no such I mean prerequisites that is needed. So only the attendees need to have a knowledge, a basic knowledge of the software applications. And I think as we are professionals, see, we are working professionals, so we know these things already, right? So we know what is regression testing and what is functional testing, what are different types of OS environments, and basic knowledge of XML. I think we should have, right? So these are the only thing that will be needed to learn this course. Okay, so no programming knowledge is needed as such. So even if, say, if you think that you are zero at programming, so then also you can join this course, because if when we will start the Groovy scripting, I will be starting from very scratch. Okay, so and you will see Groovy is very easy to learn. Okay, so and we will learn as I already told, like the things which are useful for SOAP UI. So only that part of Groovy we are going to learn. Okay, fine. Now coming to the detailed course outline. So this is the course outline that we have. Okay, so this typically almost covers all the things that are in SOAP UI. Okay. So we will start with what is web services and the theoretical aspects. What is WSDL? What is SOAP? What is XML? What is REST? Okay, and then after that we will go to the tool and look at what is SOAP UI and what is the SOAP UI architecture. How to install SOAP UI? How to work with SOAP UI? What are the different menu items and options that are there? And working with a sample project. So how to create a project in SOAP UI. Then the functional testing. So basically, as we do, as you many of us are manual testers. I think most of us may have done the manual testing. So as in manual testing, you write the test cases, you write the test steps, right? So similarly, you can do in SOAP UI also. So you have to create a test suite. You will then create a test case and write the test steps. So we will learn how to do this in SOAP UI, right? The challenge in testing APIs is that we don't have a GUI. Okay, so in unlike like in web applications or in desktop applications or in manual testing, what we do is we have the clear GUI in front of us, and we know that okay, these are the steps that we are going to perform. But here it will be a kind of different scenario wherein we will not have a GUI. Okay, so that is why the SOAP UI is there. Okay, as the name itself suggests, SOAP and UI. So SOAP is the protocol that is used for web service, and UI is for user interface. So SOAP UI means that it is an user interface to test your web services, as the web services will not come with a user interface. So SOAP UI is giving you an interface where you can test your web service. Okay, so of course it will be like the functional testing, the normal manual testing stuff that we do. So the concepts will be the similar things. So here also we will have do regression testing and we will create the regression test suites and all, right? Then we will see in detail about the SOAP and WSDL. So what is a SOAP protocol and what are WSDLs, and how we can validate the SOAP services. So we will try to create a SOAP services test plan, and we will try validating it using assertions. So it's a kind of automated scenario when we are doing with SOAP UI. So suppose in manual testing, when you execute a test, so you will and a test case say failed, so you will create a bug and you will write the failure, you will capture the failure, right? So similarly, if you want to know that whether my scripts are failing or not in SOAP UI, so for that there is something which is known as assertions in SOAP UI that we will use. So this will tell us, this will validate, and this will tell us whether the test cases are passing or failing, right? So it's a pass or fail. So we will see all those stuff. Then similar things we will see with the REST APIs. Okay, so we will also see in very detail about how we test the REST web services, how we create a REST test project in SOAP UI, how we go about authenticating REST requests, and what are the different kinds of headers that we can use, what are the different kinds of templates there, and how we validate the REST services using assertions, right? So we will of course go deep dive into the REST testing as well, because nowadays, like, more organizations and more applications are going into the REST. Why? Because REST, the support for REST is we can say that REST is gaining popularity because it is lightweight and it is easy to implement, unlike SOAP, right? How we recover SOAP request? So there is a question, how we recover SOAP request. So let's
Guys,
keep the question at end. Yeah.
yeah. Should we handle the question right now or after end of
Yeah, I believe, yeah, at the end of the session we will look at the questions. Yes.
Okay.
Thanks, Ritesh.
Thank you.
Okay. So moving ahead with the course outline. So there is a concept known as mocking. Okay. So like you may be aware in manual testing about the stub and driver concept. So suppose if a thing is not already there and we have to test it, so then we can mock that web service. Suppose if there are two web services and there is a connecting web service, and there is a third web service, which is connecting web service, and it is not made yet, it is not available yet. So for that web service we can create a mock service, right? And so that facility is also provided by SOAP UI, and we will learn that how to do this and how to run mock services using SOAP UI in a project. Okay. Then about Groovy. So Groovy language, as we already discussed, so we will learn Groovy, right? Data driven testing. So data driven testing is of course like working with external data using Groovy scripting. So we will see how we can work with Excel files in the open source version. In pro version it is already there, right? But in open source version with Groovy scripting we will see. Also sometimes you may need to validate your tests with the database, right? And like we do in manual testing, suppose if we did a test and we need to verify that whether the changes have been done in the database or not, so we will run the database query and we will check the database and we will validate, and we'll be sure that okay, yes, changes were done, whatever was expected, and we'll be sure that this test case is working fine. So similarly, we can apply the same concept here and we can run the JDBC requests as well. So we can run the database queries also with SOAP UI. So we will see that how this database testing can be done. Okay. Then the SOAP UI also supports load testing, as we discussed. So load testing and security testing also we will see. And during the entire course, there will be case studies and there will be assignments, right? So there will be assignments wherein after each topic you will get assignments and you will have to work on those assignments, and you can submit them, and we will check it. Okay, so that it can also like keep a track that okay, people are working, and also it will be it will make sure that you are getting the concepts and we are moving in the right direction, right? So that is why we believe that working on assignments at the same time is very important, in addition to attending the classes and listening to the lectures, right? Sorry. Okay, and the Q&A session will be, of course, after every session that we will do for each of the topics that we will do. So there will be an Q&A session, right? And once we are starting with a new topic, so before that we'll make sure that people are clear with the previous concepts, right? So then it will be more fruitful to move ahead. So we can keep a Q&A session at the beginning as well when we are starting. Okay. Okay, so this was about the course. Now let us start with some of the concepts, and then we will see a demo. Okay. Okay. For the duration, so let us keep these things at the end, Tarun. I'll surely answer that question. So what are web services? So basically, web services, in layman terms, it can be defined as an application which does not have a GUI. Okay, so generally applications which have a graphical user interface, a GUI, so there we can test them easily. But for the web services, we do not have a GUI. So then how it works? So web services basically has a engine. So this engine will take the input in the form of XML. It will process that XML, it will process the data in that XML, and it will provide output again in the form of XML. Okay, so this kind of interaction is there, and this kind of process is there in the web services, right? And it's not only XML. If we are talking about the REST web services, then it can interact with JSON as well. Okay, and as all this communication is in the XML or JSON, so web services are not tied to one operating system or a programming language. So it is operating system independent and programming language independent as well. Okay, so for example, like Java can talk to Perl, Windows can applications can talk to Unix applications through a web service, right? Because XML can be understood by all the languages. And the basic web services communication platform is XML plus HTTP. So the transport is through HTTP using the XML. Okay, and so let us understand this by this figure. So as you can see in this figure, the Java, .NET and PHP. So these are, so for example, this Java application, it can talk to PHP, it can talk to .NET, it can also talk to Java, right? If there is a web service. So .NET can again talk to Java or PHP and .NET. Similarly, PHP can also talk to all these three. So web service is a language independent way of communication. Okay. And typically for a user, so suppose if you are a user, so your application will provide a GUI for the user. So user will see the GUI. So he will enter something in the GUI that is going to internally generate the XML. Okay, and it will call a web service. Now this web service, it will process that, it will take the input XML, it will process it, and then it will again send the output XML. And for the user, it will come in the GUI. I mean, user may not see the XML that is getting returned. He will see the direct output in the GUI. Okay, so here you can see that I mean, these things are going in the background, and user may not be aware, I mean end user, that it is a web service or something, but and he will interact with the GUI only, but internally the web services will work, right? So some of the now practical examples, coming on to practical examples. So if you see, you must have done some online shopping, right? On an e-commerce website, maybe Flipkart or Amazon or Snapdeal or eBay or Amazon. I mean, there are multiple. There are so many e-commerce sites, right? So now, if you go to a site and suppose if you are trying to purchase something, say a mobile, you want to purchase, right? And for the mobile, you added to the shopping cart. Now you went to make the payment. Now once you are doing the payment, you will see that there is a payment gateway, right? So either it will be for if you want to pay by the credit card, so it will be Visa, MasterCard or American Express, and there will be so basically these payment gateways will be there, right? And either you are interacting with any website, so these payment gateways will be the same, right? So may it be with Flipkart or Amazon or any other site, or Make My Trip or whatever. I mean, you are going to see the payment gateway. Now there are so many different applications, right? And there can be so many e-commerce site, and there can be so many websites which can accept payment, and they may be created using different technologies, using different programming languages, right? So for a bank, it is very difficult to to create so many offerings for all of them using different technologies, right? So bank will just create one payment gateway, one web service, which can be used by any of these websites, right? And that has to be web service, that has to be XML, right? Otherwise it will be very difficult, right? So you can understand the thousands of doing it 1,000 times, so we can create one web service and that can be used by multiple applications, right? So this payment gateway is a good example, and a very practical example that all of us must have done. So that is a web service. And again, like suppose if you may have seen in different news channels that there are weather forecasts and there are, say, temperatures that are shown, right? And there are so many channels in India, and if you say outside India also, if you go to other countries, again there are so many news channels. Now all these news channels, what they will do is, so there will be now this weather information and these things will come from the satellite, right? And maybe like there is one or two organizations which collects all these data, and they have created their web service, right? Now these news channels will buy those web services, right? So we'll buy the service so that they can get the current updates on their channels, right? So this weather information can be every time, at every point in time, they will get the updated information automatically, right? So you can understand, like these web services are very important nowadays, and it is very difficult that without web services, or otherwise what will happen is, even if, like suppose if you have to use a simple thing, you will have to do all the coding over and over again. And also, like it is not at all practical that you have to create so many times the same thing for to be getting used by different types of application, right? So and as you can see that the web services is important. So and we have to, like suppose if we are an organization which are developing the web service, so we have to test them explicitly. Or even if, say, in normal applications also, there can be many interactions with different subsystems or different systems. So for that also we may need internally web services, right? So that is why services testing is gaining many much more popularity, right? Okay, so now we know somewhat about web services. Let us summarize that what we have seen for the web services. So basically, we can say that nowadays many organizations, as they use multiple software systems and different software systems, they need to exchange data with each other, and web services is a mechanism by which we can exchange data, right? And the software system that requests the data, it is called the service requester, whereas the software system that would process the request and this it will provide the output, we will call the is known as the service provider. Okay, so a different as we discussed that the different software might be using different programming language, but as they know XML, so they can talk to each other, right? And there are some rules for communication between different systems. So these rules should be followed when we are dealing with web services. So how one system can interact data from request data from another system, which specific parameters are needed in the data request, what would be the structure of the data produced. So basically the structure here is very important, because if we are dealing with say web services, and web services, there is a type of protocol, SOAP protocol, which is used for web services, and suppose SOAP is the protocol, then there are strict guidelines that this SOAP protocol should start with the SOAP envelope tag, it should end with the SOAP envelope tag, there should be a SOAP body tag, there should be a SOAP header tag. So all these rules are there, okay, and these rules should be followed. Only then we can use web services effectively, right? So okay, um, so there are basically two protocols, SOAP and REST, and there can be some more protocols as well, but generally like there are two protocols, and our class will focus on this SOAP and REST. And also like in REST, basically JSON is also included, so we will look at JSON as well. Okay, and for this class you will need of course the basic understanding of XML, right? So if you see, this is typical XML, and this is a SOAP request actually. So it looks like this. It starts with SOAP envelope, and these are the tags. Okay. So as this SOAP envelope header, this is an empty tag. So empty tag will start, and then this slash is to close. Okay. So it start and closed in the single line. Okay. And however, if you see here the login, so this is the start tag and this is the end tag of login. So end tag will have a slash when the tag starts, and with the same name. Okay. So this is an example of XML. I think most of us are aware of what is XML. Okay. So now talking about the SOAP service. So SOAP basically stands for Simple Object Access Protocol. Okay. And it is, it uses WSDL. And of course, the communication medium will be the HTTP. And it is considered as standard, heavy and conventional. Why? Because there are strict rules and we have to follow these rules, and compared to the SOAP there is another like the REST web services, so they are called as lightweight. Okay, so and because there are no such strict rules and guidelines there, so of course we'll be discussing this in very detail, and these are comparatively big topics that we need to discuss. So in our course we'll be discussing in very detail about the SOAP and the rest. Okay, so for now we can understand that the SOAP stands for Simple Object Access Protocol, and it uses WSDL. So WSDL, what is that? It is a XML formatted document. So it is a XML document which contains information about the web service. So it will contain what all operations that web service is supporting, what all are the things that are supported by that web service, what is the input that it can take, what is the output that it is going to produce. So all this information will be in the WSDL. Okay, so I think let us look at WSDL. I will show you WSDL. So if we talk about WSDL, so it stands for Web Services Description Language, and it WSDL describes how to access a web service, and it starts with a definition tag. So let us quickly go, and I will let us look at I think a WSDL URL. Okay, so Okay, so this is a WSDL URL. It starts with a definitions tag, right? And if it is a, say, a SOAP request and there is a WSDL, so I mean, whenever there is a SOAP request, so this is mandatory that whenever there is a SOAP web service, we will have this WSDL URL, and I mean it has to be there. So, and this will be provided by the developer that will develop this web service. So you will get this WSDL. And to start testing with SOAP UI, this is the thing that we need for the SOAP web service. So we will always need the WSDL. Now, SOAP UI is a tool which is intelligent enough to read this WSDL. So now, as a human user, it is difficult to read WSDL unless you know that okay, what are these different tags and what do they mean, and okay. So in fact, all the information is here in this WSDL XML document itself. But SOAP UI will get all the required information that is needed to create a project, API project, I mean. Okay, so now coming on to the SOAP UI tool. Okay, sorry. So for now, first of all, I'll show you that how you can get the SOAP UI tool. So it is very easy to get the SOAP UI tool. So all you need to do is you can go to Google and say download SOAP UI. Okay, and this is the soapui.org is the official site. Okay, and I will go to the SOAP UI downloads page, and here you will see that there are two versions. One is the SOAP UI open source and the one is the SOAP UI NG Pro. Okay, so there is a trial version of this Pro also that is available, but you can use this. I mean, I would recommend that first we should start using this open source, because once we learn the things that are there with the open source, and then like it is very easy to use the SOAP UI Pro, because in fact like SOAP UI Pro is much easier if I say compared to the open source, because the Groovy scripting is not there and much features are there in the SOAP UI. But if you can do things for free, right, so why to use the paid version? So it will be like a kind of, say, for the management, um, it will be a great help and they will be very happy if you can show that I mean I can do things for free, and I can create a framework using the SOAP UI open source itself, and so of course like this is going to help your team and management a lot, and your manager will be very happy. So we will see that most of the features, important features that SOAP UI Pro provides, so how we can do using the open source. Okay. Fine. So now that, I mean, you have to click on this get it. So there will be a exe that will be downloaded, and you have to run that exe. Okay, and that's it. So SOAP UI will be installed. The only prerequisite is that you need to have Java on your machines to install SOAP UI. Okay. Now suppose this SOAP UI is installed. And I have installed it already. So I'll open this SOAP UI. I mean, I just wanted to show you that how easy it is to create a project in SOAP UI. Of course, the intricacies and all the things we'll learn later. But if you see here, so there are many menu items as such, and all of these buttons are there, and this navigator pane is there, starter page is there. So we will learn about each of them. But first, I mean, I will simply show you that suppose if you have this WSDL, okay. I have this WSDL, and from this WSDL I have to create a project. Okay, so how I go about creating a project is that I will go here to the SOAP UI. I will click on the SOAP button. Okay, now I had copied that WSDL URL, so I will paste that WSDL URL here. Okay, so I clicked on this SOAP button and I just pasted in the initial WSDL section. I have pasted the WSDL URL. I'll click on OK. And now see, the SOAP UI was reading that. Okay, so SOAP UI was reading this WSDL, and if you see in WSDL, So generally there will be a documentation as well that should come with the WSDL. Okay, and sample requests and sample responses should also be there, so that you will know that okay, what is right and what is wrong as a tester. So, but okay, if we talk about this web service, so you will see that there are these operations that are supported. So there are 4 operations: add, divide, multiply, and subtract, right? And so add will add 2 integers. So if I go to add, so it will give me the sample request and response, right? So similarly, if I go to divide, it will also give me the sample request and response. So this is the request actually, and this is the response. Now see, the SOAP UI is intelligent enough that we had only provided this WSDL, and it has itself identified that okay, there were 4 operations that were there, right? And you can see there are 2 versions coming. So basically these are just the 2 versions of SOAP UI. The SOAP implementation actually. So this the earlier and I mean this is just to give the backward compatibility. So earlier it was 1.1 and now it is 1.2. In fact 1.2 is also from 2003 onwards, right? So we can just remove, so both are the same thing, right? Only in the implementation of some standards or some things are different. So if you're and I mean most of the applications are now using the SOAP 1.2, okay, 1.2 version. So I will remove this, and so if you can see, so it has identified okay, there are 4 operations, and if you click on this plus, so it will show you this request. So it has automatically created this request, and if you compare it with this, so you will see that it is the same request, right? So here it is SOAP envelope. Sorry, this was for the divide. Okay, so I will go to divide, and if you see here, so this is the same thing, right? This is divide int a int b, right? So it is the same request that is it has created. Now if you give some values here, say I give 10 and divided by 2, okay, and if I run it, so I will get 5. So this means that you can see, I mean this here, this pane is for the request and this pane is for the response. Okay. So we had just seen that SOAP UI can itself read WSDL and it can create the request, and also we can run it to generate the response. Okay. So but now going forward, we can also create the test suite, the test cases, and the test suite out of this, right? So suppose if I want from these 4 operations, I want to create a test case such that only there are 2 steps in that. So I will first generate a test suite, okay, and I will go to this one, and I'll click on OK, right? So it has added 2 steps, add and multiply, right? So it is a test case wherein I am going to use only add and multiply. So these are the test steps. So you can compare it with your manual testing, right? So in this way, like we do we create the project and we create the steps, test cases in SOAP UI, right? So this is just a kind of overview for SOAP UI. Of course, we will learn in very detail as to what is test suite, when to create a test suite, what are the test steps, how this should be added, and what are the different things that should be added, what are how parameterization can be done, what are properties in SOAP UI. So all these things we are going to learn. But this was just a kind of demo to show you that it's very easy to get started with SOAP UI, right? So with that, I think it's time now for the Q&A. Okay. So yeah, over to you now for the questions and answers.
Thank you very much. I pinged you. Can you confirm? Usually, sometimes I am getting REST is not a protocol, but in your slide you told REST is a protocol. So can
Yeah.
you elaborate?
Yeah. So REST is a SOAP and REST. There are two protocols that are supported, and we will see that how we can do REST testing, right? So we will see with the REST examples as well in the SOAP UI. So that is covered, of course. So
No,
REST is,
I want to know, sorry to disturb you. I want to know, is REST is a protocol or something else?
yeah, REST can be called as a protocol. So
But
protocol is,
uh, but
yes.
but sometime I read REST is not a protocol. It is an architecture model. So both the difference between a REST. What is the difference between REST and SOAP? So REST SOAP is a protocol, and REST stands for the representational state transfer. REST is
See, yeah. So okay. So this don't get confused with this. Actually, the thing is that these are the basically two different implementations by which we can test the web services. Okay. So in SOAP, the web services are generally either they will be using SOAP or they will be using REST. So the JSON also now the SOAP only supports XML. Okay, and if we talk about REST, then REST supports XML as well as JSON, and as well as it can look as a plain plain text. So this means that REST can also look as a simple HTTP request. Okay, so in nowadays, like, more popularity is going over REST because these REST services, the REST web services are easy to implement and they are easy to use, and there are no such restrictions. Like as we discussed in SOAP, the SOAP request should start with a SOAP envelope, it should end with a SOAP envelope, there should be a SOAP body, a SOAP header in that. So these are the mandatory parameters, mandatory tags there. But if we talk about the REST, there are no mandatory XML. Okay, so you can create your own XML in REST, so you have more liberty when you are dealing with REST. But again, at the same time, then your question will be, then why to use SOAP at all? So basically SOAP is used because it provides more security. So even nowadays in banking applications or in security, the applications which are more of into the security concern, so those organizations are still using the SOAP web services. Okay, and they would prefer to use the SOAP web services because they are more secure. Okay, so yeah, so they are basically, these are the two broad types of SOAP. Using the web services and implementing them.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much.
Is web services and APIs same thing?
Sorry, please go ahead with the question again.
Web services and API is the same thing
Uh,
because everywhere
yes.
you use a web services, so I'm a little bit confused that even in banking we are providing the APIs or it's a web services.
Yeah, so you can, for now, you can consider, yes, web services and API mean the same thing.
Okay.
Okay. So API is for application programming interface. So it kinds of,
Hmm.
so when APIs are exposed, so they are exposed as web services. So basically, it's for a tester, we can assume that web services and API, so they are the same thing.
Oh, okay.
So hi, I have a couple of questions. Can I ask it?
Sure.
So as per I have seen on the slide that SOAP is based on visual files. So can we do it without a visual file? Because for the visual file I need to go for developer to generate this. There's like a dependence in the visual files.
Yes.
So is there any way to we can generate our visual file if we know about where we can generate a visual file on the request?
No. Basically, it's as I said, it's a mandatory that WSDL has to be there as per the SOAP guidelines. So it has to be there if it is a SOAP web service. So the developer who is going to produce will create that WSDL URL, and he should provide that to the tester so that he can move ahead with the testing. So in REST, however, in REST there is a similar thing called WADL. So that is not mandatory. So even if for the testing of the REST, WADL is not there, we can go ahead and test the REST web services. But in the case of SOAP, we must have the WSDL.
Okay, so as per you, that if our developer have been used SOAP request, then only we can use the SOAP UI test. Is it?
No, developer will not create the SOAP envelope. Okay, so right, like this is the SOAP request actually. So if say developer has created the WSDL URL, so from that WSDL URL, this request will be created automatically by the SOAP UI. Okay.
Or so being a tester, I am using my application and I am getting a request and seeing the browser in by the F12 or like in my network, that is the one request is hitting. So how would I know that is a SOAP request or REST request?
Okay, for a SOAP request, it is very easy to identify whether it is a SOAP or REST, because SOAP request will always start with this SOAP envelope tag and it will end with this SOAP envelope tag. There will be a SOAP header tag, SOAP body tag. So these will always be there. A REST will never start with SOAP envelope.
Sorry, I'm asking in the browser, like being a tester, I'm using only the browsers where I'm using my application, no access. So first of all, we have to understand it is a SOAP request or REST request. That's my question.
Okay.
From browser.
So from browser basically REST is supported. So because SOAP requests are mostly post methods. Okay, so there are HTTP get and post methods. So this the post methods that browsers are not going to support. So generally I got from where your question is coming. So those are mostly the web services that you are looking. So they are REST. I mean REST can be tested in a browser as well, but SOAP web services, it is difficult to test in a browser. So all those that you are doing in the browser are REST.
Okay, means that's fine. I need to learn it more. Okay. And apart from my second question is can we use HTTP as you mentioned, like only HTTP request to HTTP HTTP method are you use
Yes,
this?
we can use HTTPS as well. Yes, we can use that.
So for this we have like certification or these kind of things. I believe so.
Yeah, so there is a property transfer that we will learn, that how to do property transfer and how to deal with certificates and all. So yes, it can be supported.
Okay, okay, fine. And my next confusion is that you mentioned that every web service generates if I am hitting an application ID button, so it will generate a request. Is it so, or is it a third-party dependency? If I need like you have mentioned in a PayPal service account, where you have a third-party dependency. So a developer who is developing applications and which does not require a third party. So is there mandatory or is there kind of things where they were using a web service?
Sorry, I didn't get your question properly.
My question is, let me rephrase it once again. My question is, if we are not using any third-party tool, like as you mentioned that the PayPal account, it might be like weather service or any third-party dependency.
Okay.
So it's mandatory on the time that we are using. We have to use web services. So is there any other way, like if a developer is developing its own environment, so web service comes when it's introduced in this way?
Yes, so basically web services can be, it's not always that we have to use the third party. So it can be generated internally also. Like for example, say internally also in your organizations, there is some authentication for the login that you want to do. So you can create a login web service, and that login web service can be used across different applications in your organization, or for that matter in the project at different places. So many of the things that are say in the same organization as well, so it can be used in the same application also, the web services can be used. It's only that if we have to, like, there can be different subsystems, there can be multiple systems, and suppose if they are using different technologies and they want to exchange data, so then at that place we can have web service as an effective medium.
Means if developer have created a one function, so against of this functions that the web service will generate.
No, for every web function, I mean, to generate the web service is again a different thing, and there are, say, set of guidelines as to how to create a web service, generate a web service, and expose that web service. So it's not just by creating a function the web service will be created, but I mean, of course, for this class we are not going to see that actually. I mean, we are not going to create a web service, but this will have more focus on how we are going to test the web service of already created web services.
Means it's a depend on a developer, he want to be exposed or not, right?
Yes, yes.
And apart from this, in this one more question. So if one web service is using internally another web service, so can we test or can we catch that particular web service? So is there many, maybe there's a many call internally, if you are using one web service, so might be faster that one web service using another web service. So can we catch in a SOAP UA?
Yes, of course. So that will appear in the tree. So here, as you see the test steps, so that will come in the test steps. And suppose we need an input from one request as an output from one request as input to the another request. So we can do that also using the property transfer that we will learn.
That's fine. I'm completed. I'm done. So thanks.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Just would like to know from you guys, Akhil and everyone. So, what is the best you have find out in this demo for yourself, Akhil? I have means I have been used this but couple of doubt in my mind. So I have gone through this so many many doubts have been resolved from my side. And I think that's a very nice initiative by the FME, and I'm very thankful to you guys that you are taking this step and you are organizing this kind of trainings. So this kind of trainings is really helpful because what I experienced. Like working in an organization, you work only on a particular thing. So you are not aware like many of the things means which is not in your plate. You are not aware, or like attending this kind of training. You must aware like what is happening in the background. So it's a very beneficial for us. Absolutely, absolutely. And see, the thing is, as I said before, the difference between traditional training institute and in a refer me is that in refer me group, you will find the trainer who are working professionals. So they will teach you from the perspective that what is going on in project and how we can tackle them. And in traditional institute, what happened that they have a trainer, though they are knowledgeable, but they do not know how to handle any project and how the real-time application should be dealt with. So that is the difference. In demo, they show very good things, and in one or two class, they show very good things. But once the class will be in a running mode, so people actually got to know that what kind of quality they are giving. So many candidates I have seen that they have joined Refer Me workshop, even attending the same tool or technology at outside the market, then they find out the difference between Refer Me and other traditional institutes. So yes, you are right, and we are giving this quality just because of we do not want to break that trust which we have built up in last 2 or 3 years, and that is the reason because of you guys now we are 6,000. Right. So thank you so much, Amit, for your trust on us. That really give us more to be responsible, and we will try our best to be at your, at your parameters to be. We will complete that. So thank you, Akhil. And Amit, would like to know the same thing from you. What best you have find out in this demo for yourself?
I agree with Akhil. You are doing a very good job, and for me also, for I'm a manual tester, I want to learn new technology and new tools. So for this session I'm talking about this session. So this session start from scratch. So everyone I guess everyone will accept. Everyone know about the concept of the SOAP UI. Really.
Yeah.
Thank you much, MG team and trainer. You are really doing a good job.
Thank you so much, Amit. And the same question I have raised to you as a manual tester. If you do not know or do not have any experience on language, so how you will deal. I hope you got the answer after attending the demo.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Thank you. Now coming to Meenakshi.
Arami, hi, hello.
Yeah.
Sorry to
Yeah,
disturb you again.
no problem, no problem. Please.
When you will what is the course period time, or after
Timing
the
will,
discussion you will describe the course about the course.
see, everything will be shared on a WhatsApp group, so don't worry. And the classes will be on the weekends only because the
Fine, fine.
trainer and we will get a time on the weekends only.
Okay, fine, fine, fine. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, Meenakshi, please go ahead.
Yeah, first of all, thank you for such a nice session. So the first thing I like is the real-time example.
Mm-hmm.
A trainer used a very real-time example. It's very good for us. And second, I doing a API testing, but it's manually, so it's for me very useful to learn like my API as automation. But one feedback I want to give to you guys is that because I am facing a problem like you shared the link at the last moment, go to meeting, which we have to download, and then that time I take a little bit time, and it's get a little bit confusing to me. Like it's taking my time. So at
Meenakshi,
least
agree.
for
Yeah.
me, at least you
Yeah,
share
please go
idea
ahead.
last time, but link you can share it like some before. ID at last time I can
Mhm.
understand that point, but at least for which link you are going to start that session, it's I think shared before 15 minutes or 10 minutes, at least extend that time duration.
Yes, yes, Meenakshi, absolutely. That is a taken point for us. And we are very sorry for the problem you guys have faced. So next time
Otherwise,
we will see.
session was otherwise session was very good and useful for me, and I'm eagerly waiting for the starting of that so QIs.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. And definitely, see, we are also in learning phase, and we guys learn from you because you are a motivator or mentor for us. So we learn from you, and this point is taken absolutely. And the next time we will take care.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Meenakshi. Okay, Puneet, from you, we would like to hear what is the best you have found in this demo for yourself. Puneet, you can type if your mic is not working. Okay. Tarun?
Uh, yes, it was all good, and the way trainer has said, first of all, thank you to him because he took out some time to give us this training. And yes, I am excited if only things are taken forward more practically. I am not very much keen in covering up the theory because if I have practical experience, I am sure I will be able to work out all the theory stuff. So you already know that what my expectations were when when I was when I approached you to join this training. So it's all practical stuff and has to be obviously some projects should be covered and some latest thing. So I'm excited about it. Hopefully
Oh,
that
that's so
should be
nice.
covered.
The word excited you have used absolutely. That is awesome for me as well. I mean, that is the word which quite fascinating.
Okay, I know really am. You know me, and you know that why I want to join this training. So if I get a practical exposure and get to know how things work, so I am pretty much satisfied with that.
Okay, okay, okay. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Tarun. Okay, Vinayak, we would like to hear from you. What is the best you have found from this demo for yourself? Vinayak, you can type. Okay. Okay. Who has? Okay. Puneet has written the thanks for amazing session. I just want to know, like, we will provide with SOAP UI session trainer. Do SOAP UI supports apart from Groovy? So trainer, you can give the answer on this.
Yeah, so basically, Groovy is the mostly like used thing, and it's a very easy. So we'll learn even if like you know the other languages. So I think you can easily switch to Groovy, and yeah, s- indirectly we can use other things as well. But I think the support for Groovy is good, and we must use Groovy for SOAP UI. And Groovy is very easy to learn, so we will see that I mean even for the non-programmers it is very easy to learn, so don't worry about that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So Vinayak, okay. Thank you, trainer. Thank you, Puneet. Vinayak, you would like to share something?
Yeah, regarding the class, especially the pace, what you guys maintained was very nice, and basically, like even a layman can understand how it works. The way you guys presented was very nice. So, looking forward to uh, join whatever the other courses you guys have.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this trust on us, Vinayak. And believe us, your trust. This is only you and group members' trust, which always motivate us, and which even we cannot deviate from our objective because of these trust. Because losing a trust will be a very small kind of job, but again gaining a trust will be a very tough, which we have got in only 2 to 3 years of hard work. After that, we got it. So we will try to accomplish that trust, and we will make sure that we will be 100% fulfill the requirement, whatever you have, guys. So now we are dropping this session. Anything else you would like to share? You guys would like to share? And before dropping this, please appreciate to yourself, because today you had taken a time for yourself and taken a decision to learn SOAP UI. In current situation, I have close to 12 years of experience in testing, and I can say that out of 100 testers, only still 30 testers are in automation. The rest all complete, complete mob or complete group is going on towards manual, and in coming 2 years, there will be nothing left for the manual, because manual can be done by 1 or 2 year experience guys. Only the automation world will go on. Right, so I appreciate to yourself that you had taken a decision today. So thank you so much for joining this session, and have a nice weekend. Enjoy. Take care. Bye bye.
Yeah, thank
Bye
you so
bye.
much.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Bye.
bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Practical aspects, and you will see and during the course also you can discuss about your real-time issues and problems, right, as we move to the different topics. Okay, so first of all, looking at the agenda, uh, and also I would like to thank you for taking up time to join on a Saturday, on a weekend, and I could understand the amount of interest that you have, as you have taken out some time from your busy schedule on a Saturday and for listening to me. So really, I really thank you for this. Okay, looking at the agenda today, so today we are going to look at first the introduction about this course and what are the course objectives. So what would be our expectations from this course. Then we will look at the detailed course outline. So what are the different things that we will learn after this course. and whatever. So then we will start with small demo of a theory, and after the theory by the demo, so we will look at what are web services, and there will be an introduction to the SOAP UI tool, and we will try to create a simple project using the SOAP UI. Okay, and followed by this there will be Q&A sessions, wherein if you have any doubt related to this course structure or any other specific requirements so that you would like to see in this course, so we can talk about that. Okay, and during this, can you make me the presenter? So Surinder, if that would be required, so we can do that, but by the first let me complete, and then um, by the end of this course, if that is required, so I can make you the presenter if you want to show us something. Okay. Okay. So to start with, as this is a customized training, so basically of course we have a standard course outline, but if you feel that according to your project requirements some more things needs to be added, or you might be interested in some particular detail related to a particular subject, so that you can mention, and of course we can incorporate that in our course. Okay, so of course this course is going to add value to your skills, and of course it will increase your market value, as most of us know that SOAP UI is a very popular tool nowadays, and for API automation, for web services automation, this is the most widely used tool, right? So in today's market you can see that of course uh, tester who has this skill set, so he can be distinguished from a manual tester, and there will be much more job opportunities for him, right? And the people I mean, if you want to go to automation, then there are other tools like Selenium, and there may be tools like UTP, but I believe that for now, like, you have chosen the right tool, SOAP UI, because the first thing is that suppose if you are new to automation, or even you are already used to automation, so then also it is good for you. But even for beginners to automation and people who have very less programming knowledge, or they have not done programming yet, so even for them, like, this tool is easy to understand. Why? Because the Groovy scripting is used, of course, but the Groovy scripting in itself is easy to learn. And if you know the concepts, and if you if you know any of the programming languages, then you can learn Groovy easily. And even if, like, you don't know a programming language, then also we will see that how we can create simple scripts using Groovy, and all of the code that we will discuss in the class, so I will be sharing with you. Okay, so you can use that Groovy scripts in your practical projects that you will do, and you will see that most of the things that is related to Groovy, that will be done using that, whatever we will discuss in the course. I think more than 90% of the things, Groovy things that we will discuss in the course. So more than 90% of your requirement of the Groovy will be covered. And the rest 10%, so that you will be in a position to write code of your own, right? So we will learn Groovy that much, which will be useful for SOAP UI, because Groovy then itself is a very we can say it has a very vast area. It's a vast it's a programming language. So of course, so we are not going to learn each and everything about Groovy, but of course the things which will be used and which will be useful for us in with respect to the SOAP UI, so we will learn all those things, right? So the course objective is, after completing this course, we will be able to identify what is web services testing. So what is web services and what is web services testing? So this we would know, and we will get a good understanding of web services. So we will know that what are the different types of web services, what is SOAP, what is REST, and what is the different types of web services in very detail. Then we will look at the SOAP UI tool, and we will identify the different components. We will use the different components of the SOAP UI, and we will see how we implement the web services testing using the SOAP UI tool by creating a SOAP UI project. So the first thing that you would do in a SOAP UI tool is we have to create a project. So we will see how to create a basic as well as advanced project in SOAP UI. Then we can work with external data using Groovy scripting and replicate some SOAP UI Pro features in SOAP UI. Now there are two versions of SOAP UI. One is the SOAP UI open source version, and the other is the SOAP UI Pro version. So this Pro version is actually a paid version. Okay. So in this paid versions, there are much more features compared to the open source version. But the good thing is that with the open source version, if we know Groovy, then we can have the same features in the open source tool as well. Okay, so if we are able to do most of the things that are in the paid version with the free version, then you can understand your management will be so happy about that, right? Because you will be saving a lot on the licensing cost and all. Right. So of course, like whatever features are there in most of the features, I would say that are in the SOAP UI Pro, so that can be created in SOAP UI open source using Groovy scripting, and we will learn how to do that. Okay. Load testing the application. So then the load testing is also supported by SOAP UI. So we can load test a scenario using the SOAP UI tool. And load testing is a non-functional testing, and for this there are concepts which are different to what we do in general functional testing. As for example, there are no negative test cases as such when we do the load tests, right? So we will learn about also the different concepts related to load test, and then how we can create a load test scenario, what are the different strategies that we follow for in the SOAP UI to do the load tests. And then also there is a security testing that is supported, right? So you can security test your application by running a security test scenario. So it provides, SOAP UI provides different types of vulnerability scans, and you can do different types of tests related to security with SOAP UI, and we will learn how to do those as well. So I would request,
just keep, you can keep yourself, from your side, you can keep mute two other guys.
Okay. Yeah, so I have kept everyone else on mute. So if you want to ask something for now, like you can chat, and you can type in the chat window, and once like this session is over, so there will be a Q&A session in the last, and there you can ask questions. Okay. Yeah, so moving ahead, who should attend this course? So basically there is no such eligibility criteria and for the people who can attend. So basically any aspirant tester who want to learn the SOAP UI tool, or maybe a developer also, if he wants to learn the SOAP UI tool, can join this course. Okay, and typically a manual tester or managers or software test engineers, automation testers, so they can join this course. Okay, and the attendees, they should have these things, and these are very common things which generally like we professionals already have, as we are working professionals. So just as basic things are required, like knowledge of various software applications, regression testing concepts, different OS environment knowledge, XML knowledge. So these things are required. Okay, and this is the course outline typically. Okay, so looking at the SOAP UI course outline, so this it typically covers almost all the things that are in SOAP UI, and I mean most these are the things that mostly like you will be dealing with in SOAP UI. So this kind of extensively covers the SOAP UI. And so when we'll start with an introduction to the web services. So what is web service, what is WSDL, what is SOAP, what is XML, what is REST. So we will deep dive into this, and we'll make sure that all of us now understand the concepts. And then once like we know the concepts, we will start with the SOAP UI tool and implementation of testing the web services. So with the SOAP UI, we will look at the SOAP UI architecture, the installation, the different options and menu items that are there, and different the settings that can be done with SOAP UI. Then working with a sample project, so there will be a sample project on which we will start working, and we will see that how to create a project in SOAP UI and what are the different elements and how to use them. And then we can once like we are familiar with what is a project, then for the purpose of SOAP UI is basically that it can be used as a functional testing for the APIs or web services. So for the web services, if we have to test, so SOAP UI provides a UI. So because I mean, if you how it is different from manual testing is that in manual testing also, like you will create test cases, you will create test steps, like you will execute those test steps to see that whether my test has passed or failed, right? So you will see these things. So similarly in SOAP UI also, we will perform all these things. We will create the test cases, we will write the test steps, we will validate and we will check that whether our we are getting the correct responses or not. So here the difference is actually that we do not have a GUI, graphical user interface is not there. So for example, in the manual testing, you will have a website or you will have an application on which there will be a graphical user interface, and you can check from there that okay, whether I mean my application is working fine or not, or you can perform the steps there. But here the web services do not have the UI. So basically the SOAP UI, the name itself suggests SOAP is basically a protocol to implement a web service. We will see in some later slides as well. So UI is for user interface. So SOAP UI is that it provides a UI for SOAP. Okay. So for testing web services, it provides a user interface. So using this user interface, we will write all these test cases and test steps, and we will test, right? So we'll see how we can do those stuff. Then about SOAP and WSDL. So what is WSDL? What is SOAP? How we can create SOAP test project in the SOAP UI tool. And then again for the REST APIs, how we can create tests for the REST API. And you can see that I mean, you may have observed that the REST is getting more popularity these days, and most of our web services are now like REST web services, but still like SOAP is also used and REST is also used. So we will look at both of them in very great detail. And then mocking. So mocking is a concept wherein as manual testers, you may be aware about what is a stub and what is driver. So basically, suppose a functionality is not there already, so then we have to mimic that thing, right? So that we can test. So similarly, like in this SOAP UI, suppose if there are 3 web services and web service 1 wants to connect to web service 3, but web service for that they require web service 2, which is not there, right? So now you can create a mock service for web service 2 so that web service 1 and 3 can connect, or even like you can simply, if you want to run mock service web service 2 alone, you can do that without, I mean, still that web service has not been created, but we can mock that. So we will see that how to create mock services using SOAP UI, right? Then the Groovy we have already discussed, right? So we will see Groovy scripting in SOAP UI. Then data-driven testing. So we will see that how this data-driven testing can be done using the SOAP UI open source tool. So this we can do using Groovy because there is no direct support in SOAP UI for this. The SOAP UI Pro has that, right? So in SOAP UI Pro, you can read Excel easily, but in SOAP UI, for reading the Excel, you will have to use Groovy. Okay. So we will see and we will implement that as well. Now database testing with SOAP UI. So likewise you do when you do the manual tests. So sometimes you have to validate from the database that whether the things that I am checking, so they are getting updated or not, or database is also reflecting the same thing or not. So we have to verify from the database also sometimes for some of the test cases, right? So similarly, for the APIs also we can validate from the database, and we can do database testing with SOAP UI. So there are JDBC requests which can run, and inside these JDBC request we can write our request. Like for example, your select queries or your stored procedures. So these can run in SOAP UI, and we will see how it is done. Okay, so security testing with SOAP UI. So now load testing and security testing. So these things will also be covered in great detail, right? Then along as each topics is going to be discussed, so we will be doing the case studies and Q&A sessions, right? So after every topic is completed, there will be a Q&A session. And also, like before we start on a particular day for a new topic, so we will make sure that the previous topic is cleared and we will have questions there. And in addition to this, there will be assignments that you need to perform. So we will be sending you exercises or assignments that you need to complete and send it to us before the next topic starts, right? So that, I mean, it will be a kind of track also that you are spending time and you are working and you are learning SOAP UI, and at the same time, like we will be sure that we are going in the right direction and you are the learning the things as expected, right? So for that we will have assignments. So there will be periodic quiz as well. So for after completion of few topics, there can be periodic quiz as well. Okay. Now, okay. So now this was about the course. Now let us get some concepts, and then I will show you a demo with SOAP UI. Okay. So let us start with what are web services. Okay. Now, for a layman, if he does not know about a web service, so we can say that the web service can be defined as an application which does not have any GUI. So it is an application which is not having a graphical user interface. So simply, I mean, web service can be known as an application which does not have a GUI. So then what it has? So it has an engine. Now this engine will take the input in the form of XML. It will process that data in the XML and it will provide output again in the form of XML. So this is what a web service does. It takes the input in XML, processes it, and again gives output as XML. Okay. Then for REST web services, we can have, instead of XML, we can have JSON as well. Okay. So I mean, in web services, we have to deal with XML or JSON, and because all the communication is in XML, so the web services are not tied to any one operating system or programming language, because all the programming languages they can understand XML. Okay, and operating systems also can understand XML. So with the help of web services, a Java application can actually talk to a Perl application. Windows application can talk to Unix applications. Okay, so they can interact with each other, they can talk to each other, right? They can send exchange data to across their systems, right? So the basic web services communication platform will be the XML plus HTTP in web services. Okay, so of the transport is through the HTTP. Okay, now let us understand this by looking at this figure. Okay, so these, if you see here, it says that, as in this figure, that the Java application, if there is a web service in between, so this Java application can talk to the Java application also, .NET also, and PHP also. Similarly, this .NET application can talk to Java, .NET, and PHP can also talk to Java, .NET, and PHP. Right. So it is the web service is a language independent way of of doing the communication. Okay. So once show the previous screen. Okay. Anything about the web service? So this, I mean, in this previous screen, we looked at the web service, that what is web service. So we have just said that it is an application which does not have a GUI and it processes XML. Okay. And then in the next slide, we saw that our one application can talk to another application if we are using a web service. Right. So it is a language independent way of communication. Now, so for a user, what web services look like is that for a user, generally there will be a GUI. Okay, so for the user there will be a GUI, and in that GUI, in the graphical user interface, say a web application, user can type something, right, and that can so and that can basically, so these basically these so in reply to your question, so basically all these material will be provided to you. Okay, yeah, I'll be providing so, and once in our course, basically all the course material and all the handouts, all the scripting that we will do, so all of those stuff will be provided to you. Okay, so don't worry about that. Yeah. So generally in this, it says that your application provides GUI for the user to enter data and internally generate XML and call the web service. Okay. So this application is providing the GUI. Now the user is interacting with GUI, and he may not be aware that what is happening at the back end. And in the back end, what is happening? So this is calling whatever he has entered. That application is basically calling a web service, and this web service is taking the input. So it has automatically generated the XML. It has taken the input in the XML. It is processing it, and then user will again see output in the GUI. Right. So for a user, I mean, he may not know, but these things are web services working in the background. Okay. Now let us look at some of the practical examples. I think there was a question that shows some practical examples. So this is a practical example. Okay. So of an online app shopping. Okay. So suppose, I think most of you must have done online shopping, maybe on Flipkart or Amazon or Snapdeal, or there are so many other sites, right? So you may have done online shopping. Now what happens in online shopping is that you will say, if you want to purchase a mobile, so you will select that mobile and you will add to the shopping cart, and then the final step will be that you will doing the payment and then the checkout, right? So if once you are doing the payment, you are interacting with the bank, right? Now bank provides you with the payment gateway, right? So it can be like, for you can be paying with a credit card, say for example, or net banking. So for the credit card, it can be a Visa card or a Master card or American Express card, right? And for the net banking, so basically there can be different net banking of different banks, right? Now let us say your application is made in Java language. There is an e-commerce application and it is in Java language. Okay. There is another e-commerce application and it is built in .NET language. There is a third e-commerce application that is made in PHP language. Now all these are are e-commerce applications, so they will have this payment gateway, right, to do the payment. Now just imagine there are so many websites which will be having this payment gateway, and if bank creates a customized solution for all of those, then you can imagine the work needed there, right? Because across the globe there will be so many sites which are accepting payments, but there are limited payment gateways, right? So the same payment gateway can be used for example, for the Flipkart also, for the Amazon also, and for the Snapdeal also, or maybe for that matter any other website also, right? So basically bank is providing a web service in the form of payment gateway, and your application is just using that web service, okay, to do the payment, to authenticate or size the payment and make the payment successful. So bank is not creating so many solutions for all those. So bank is creating a web service, and that can be used by any organization which wants to do the payment, right? So this is a good practical example, and I mean you cannot think of any other generally other solution which is as easy as this, right? So another example can be say the weather information, right? So suppose the weather information you want to, there are so many news channels, right? Across the globe there are so many news channels, and these weather information comes from the satellite. Now there are few organizations which will keep these information with them, right? And they will work on them, and they work on the weather forecast on all those things. Now every news channel cannot put so much effort to work on the weather forecast and capturing all the details of the weather and everything, right? So these companies, these organizations which are specifically looking into the weather information, so they have created their web services, and all the news channels can use their web services. So of course, I mean, they will ask for payment, or some web services are free as well, but they can use those web services to get the required information, right? So these are some of the practical examples. Okay. Now let us summarize like what we have learned in the web services. Okay. So we saw that the many organizations can use multiple software systems, and these software systems may need to exchange data with each other. And a web service is basically a method of communication that will allow two software systems to exchange data over the internet. Now this the software system that is requesting the data is called the service requester, okay, whereas the software system that would process the request and provide the data is called the service provider. So in our case, our e-commerce website will be the service requester, and whereas the bank web service will be the service provider, right? So so these are the terms that are used, service requester and service provider. Okay. Now we also discussed that different softwares might be built using different programming languages, but they will understand XML. So web services can use XML files for data exchange, right? And also web services needs to follow rules for communication. And we will see that during our course also, that there are very strict rules if we are dealing with, for example, the SOAP web service. Okay. So there are rules for how one system can request data from another system, which specific parameters are needed, what should be the structure of the data produced, I mean what should be the structure of the web service request, and what will be the structure of the web service response. So there are fixed tags and all those things. Okay, what error messages should be displayed, so that I mean there should be proper error messages and troubleshooting can be easier. Okay. now okay, now that we know web services, so basically to implement web services there are two protocols, SOAP and REST. Okay, so before looking at these web services we should also know the XML. So typically like SOAP and REST are the two protocols that are these are the two implementations for web services, and REST includes JSON also, XML as well as JSON. Okay, in SOAP only XML is supported, and REST can support XML as well as JSON, and there is a plain text also which is supported. So this means that REST request can sometimes look as a simple HTTP request, the REST web service. Okay, of course, like we will see in very detail as to what is SOAP, what is REST. Okay, so for now, I just wanted to give you an overview. So this is an example of a request, and this is an example of XML, you can say. So this is the start tag, and this is the close tag. I think you are aware that these less than and greater than symbols are for the tags, and whatever is in between is the tag name, right? And then this slash is used for forward slash is used to end the tag, right? And suppose if it is used together, like here, so PNB header, and then this tag closing tag is also there. So this is open and closed at the same time, right? So this is the example of a XML, right? And then talking about SOAP, so for now SOAP you can understand as it is a simple object access protocol. So this is the abbreviation for the full form of SOAP, simple object access protocol, and it is used to exchange data, right? Now SOAP service, so SOAP kind of web service, basically it will always use the WSDL. So there is something known as WSDL, okay, web service definition language. So this is a mandatory thing that will be always be present with the SOAP web service. Whenever there is a SOAP web service, there will be a WSDL URL. So we will look at how WSDL looks like. Okay, I will show you. Okay, so WSDL, what is that? So WSDL stands for the Web Services Description Language, and it has these tags. So it is basically XML document, and it contains all the information about the web service. Okay, so for example, this will be more clear if I go to show you an example. Okay, okay, so for the okay. So this is a calculator web service. Okay, this is an open source web service, and so this is a calculator web service, and it has these operations: add, divide, multiply, subtract. Okay, so this has already been created. Okay, this is a web service which is available on the internet. Now there are these operations that are supported. Now this add will do the addition, right? This divide will do the division, and these are the sample requests. So this is how the SOAP request look like. Okay, of course we will see in every detail as to what this is, but for now I just wanted to show you that how quickly and how easy it is to use SOAP UI, and we are going to create a project in SOAP UI. Okay, so for now you can see that. Okay,
I have a sorry to interrupt in between. I have a question. Can I ask?
Okay, so if it is a small question, you can ask. Otherwise, we have kept a separate window for the questions.
No, actually, it's related to the what you have just shown. As you have shown that we can see the XML file for add, divide. So suppose can we create our own XML files like while doing practice for any SOAP projects at our home? Is it possible, or because when I have worked in one of the SOAP projects, the developers only used to give us the XML files. So can we create our own XML file?
Generally, it is not the role of a tester to create that file, but yes, if you have that knowledge and you know how to create a web service, so of course that you can create, but it is not the role of a tester.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Okay, so okay, moving ahead. So this is okay. So this basically contains the details. Now it has a WSDL URL also. So this is the WSDL URL that I was talking about. So this is how the WSDL looks like. So what is WSDL? It is nothing but a XML document. So you can say that WSDL is a XML document. Now this document will have all the information about the web service, that what this web service is doing, what operations it is supporting, what is the kind of request and response that it will support. So all this information about the web service will be present in the WSDL. Okay, so of course if we know the tag and how to read this WSDL, so we will be able to read it, but even if like we don't know how to read this WSDL, we, for the testing point of view, what we can do is the SOAP UI is intelligent enough to read this WSDL and get all the required information out of it. So if we provide this WSDL URL to the SOAP UI tool, it will automatically do the rest of the stuff. Okay, so let us see that how we can use this WSDL to create a project in SOAP UI. So for that, first I will show you that how we can download and use SOAP UI. So it's very easy. I'm going to the SOAP UI tool now, as we have a fair idea of what is web service. So I type download SOAP UI, and this is the link. soapui.org is the official site for the SOAP UI tool. Now here, if you see in the download section, there are two downloads available. One is the SOAP UI open source version, the another one is the SOAP UI NG Pro. Okay, so if we click on this get it button, it will download a .exe file. Okay, so now I have already like downloaded and installed SOAP UI. So you can click on this get it button, exe will be downloaded, and then you can install the SOAP UI. Okay, so it is easy to install, and only prerequisite is that you should have Java on your machine, and the latest Java is recommended. So right now the latest is the Java 1.8. So I would recommend that you should check that Java 1.8 is there, and then you can download and install. Okay, so installation is easy, and you can just click on next and you can go ahead. Okay, then once SOAP UI is installed, you can open the SOAP UI. So there will be a desktop icon that will also be created. You can double click on that. It will open up the SOAP UI. So what we are trying to do right now is that we have the WSDL URL, and from that we are trying to create a project in SOAP UI. Okay, so this is the tool. And there are different menu items here, right? These are the different buttons. There is a this area where you will see the tree structure kind of. There is this properties, and this SOAP UI started page is there, and this is not a mandatory thing. So all these, I mean, of course, all these details we will learn in our session in when we will start with the course. Okay, for now what we are going to do is there is a SOAP button here. So this will create a, it, as you hover the mouse over here, it says creates a new SOAP project. So I will click on this button. Okay, and I will provide the WSDL URL. Okay, so I had already copied that WSDL URL for the calculator web service. So I have pasted this WSDL here. It has automatically taken the project name. Okay, so I will not do anything. I have just pasted it, and let the other things be as default. Okay, just click on OK. Okay, so I clicked on OK. Now see, this SOAP UI was intelligent enough that from that WSDL itself, it identified, okay, that there are four methods, four operations that are there, and it has identified this. Now you see there are two repetitions, right? One is the calculator SOAP and calculator SOAP 1, 2. So basically, these are the two different versions of the SOAP implementation. Okay, so so this WSDL link will be provided by the developer. Okay, developer will create the WSDL link and they will provide it to us. So so here if we see these two things, now we can remove one of them because these two are same. Actually, these are the two different versions of the implementation, SOAP implementation, and this SOAP version 1.2 also came back in 2003, I think, and it is I mean, more older. So just to give kind of backward compatibility, we still use some of the web services still use this. So we can remove this. I mean, that is, you can keep any one of them. So I will remove this one. Okay. Now, this has automatically identified that, okay, there are these four web services. And if you expand this, you will see that there is some SOAP request also written here. And if I double click on this, I will see the actual request, right, which has come. So now this is for the add, right? And if you see, go back and if you see the description that was there, so you will see that it is actually matching. So SOAP UI has automatically created. So this is the request, right? It starts with the SOAP envelope and there is a body and there is int A and int B, right? So this is also the same thing, right? So it automatically created that. Okay. So here we can provide the values int A and int B and it will add. So suppose if I provide 3 and 2, so you can provide this 3 and 2. There is this run button. You can click on the run button and you will get the output as 5. Okay. So I mean, I was just I mean, trying to show you that how easy it is to get started with the SOAP UI, right? And then going ahead, of course, going forward, we have to create the test suite, the test cases, right? The test uh, steps, right? So you can click on generate test suite and you can, so suppose I want these two steps. So these will be kind of steps in my test case, add and multiply. So if I just select those and click on OK, so there will be a test suite that is created, right? And inside this test suite, you can see that there is a add and there is a, so these are the test cases actually. So you see, this is the test case and this add is a test step inside that test case. Okay. So we can run it from here also. Okay. So, I mean, we will see in more detail that what, I mean, how actually, why to create a test suite, what is a test case, and what kind different types of parameterization also that we can do, and how, what are the best practices. So all those stuff we will see. There is a lot in this, but I just wanted to show you that how easy it is to get started with SOAP UI. Okay, and of course going forward there are some complex things as well which we will learn. Okay, so with this I conclude my demo, and now it is over to you for questions. Okay, so I have unmuted people, so if you have questions you can now ask.
Okay, first of all, just wanted to ask this question is related to the previous question only which I asked. Like in my current project, there is no such SOAP UI, you know, which is getting used. So if I want to practice at home, so for any, this is a suppose very simple, you know, scenario which we have discussed. So if for any complex scenario we want to test, then in that case the WSDL file is the, you know, backbone of the SOAP UI. So from where we get on the internet WSDL file available for any scenario we want to test?
Yes, so there are many WSDL files available. Some of them are complex also, which you can practice. So if you search on internet for open source WSDL or open source web services. So you will see a lot of links. Okay, so you can use them for practice.
So we can just copy the URL in the WSDL section. There's no need to save the XML file and attach it, right?
Yeah, there is no need to save at that point, but yes, there is a file save option. So here we can save the project.
Okay.
And that project is basically saved in XML format. Any more questions?
Okay, Ankit, do you have any question? Ankit, Archana, Kanika, Neeraj, Parmeshwar, Rakesh, Rupansi, Shakshi, Surek, Vishali. Rupansi has mentioned one thing from where we got WSDL link.
Yeah.
So the same has been answered, right?
Yes, yes. So basically the WSDL link should be provided by the developer who has made that web service.
Okay.
Is there any link between the SOAP UI and the PuTTY? Because whatever the request we are hitting and the response we are getting, and I used to remember that we used to use PuTTY as well to check the response of the web service. So what is the link? Sorry, I don't remember much. Just asking.
I don't think we use PuTTY directly with SOAP UI. So we should make sure that from the so basically PuTTY is just to go to a Unix box, and if you want to run some commands there, if it is a Unix machine, so then you can use that. But it's the SOAP UI is generic for Windows. People who are not speaking, so I request you to please keep on mute. Yeah, thank you. Ma'am, there is a disturbance. Please, I request you to keep on mute.
Rupanshi, please just can you keep yourself on mute? Chinar, you can do it from your side. Might be she is busy with something.
Rupanshi, okay.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, my question is like I'm involved in the mainframe testing. So is there any way we can connect this mainframe, integrate this mainframe with the SOAP UI? Is there any way? Do we have any link with mainframe also?
So basically, if I mean so basically, if we suppose there is a Java application and there is a mainframe application. Now if they want to connect to each other, they want to talk to each other, then there should be a web service in between. And that web service, of course, we can test with the SOAP UI.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Hello.
Yes,
yeah, neither this side. Actually, my question is that how can I check that the output is correct or not by the SOAP UI?
Yeah. So for that, we have something known as assertions in SOAP UI, so by which we can validate that whether we are getting the correct response or not. So we can of course check that. So, and it is in an automated fashion that when you will run the suite, so it will automatically check that between the tag. So this is the value that you are expecting. Suppose in between the tag you expect a particular value. Say when we were adding this 2 and 3, we expected 5. So we could have, I mean, if we are adding 2 and 3, it should always be 5, right? So we can test that thing. We can write assertion that it should always be 5. So in that way we can test. Yeah.
Okay, we can check. We can use the database with that.
Yes, you can validate from the database as well.
Okay, thank you.
So these assertions needs to be written by us only.
Yes, these assertion needs to be written by us.
Okay.
Rakesh has pinged one question
Again,
that can we automate web service testing?
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, you
Yes,
can automate.
actually, I have one doubt.
Yeah, please go ahead.
That as you said that for SOAP, WSDL is mandatory. So
Hmm.
basically, what's the use of WSDL? Like
W,
you said that for SOAP,
yeah, so for SOAP
means
actually,
what basically it does. WSDL, what major role does it play in that SOAP?
sure, I'll answer that question. So basically, when we are dealing with the SOAP protocol, SOAP web service, so there are some rules. So these are rules and syntax that need to be followed. So for a SOAP web service, there is a rule that there should be a XML formatted document which will be known as the WSDL. Okay, so it has to be there. Then again, as per the syntax, this SOAP web service should start with SOAP envelope tag. There should be a SOAP header tag. There should be a SOAP body tag. So these are kind of mandatory things that should be there in the SOAP. Basically, this why this is there is that it provides strict guidelines, and there is a so the applications which are more of the security concern, so they use this web services, SOAP kind of web services. Most of the banking and financial organizations, so they are using the SOAP web services because they provide more security in comparison to the REST web service. Okay, so in the REST web service, actually those are flexible, and there are no I mean such strict guidelines there. Okay, so yeah, so I hope that answers your question.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, welcome. Archana is asking that how can we test REST web services. So Archana, of course we can test REST web services also with the SOAP UI. So there is a facility in SOAP UI where by which we can create a REST test plan, and we can test the REST web services easily. And this is a part of the course, and of course we'll be looking at that. Any more questions? Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, so just would like to know, I mean, we are about to conclude this session. So Amit, what is the best you have find out in this session for yourself, in this demo?
Well, I think for any new joiner who wants to learn SOAP UI, they can understand it in an easy manner, and it would be good, if they understand, because this was a very simple, example which the trainer has given to us. So the more they'll practice and the more they will see this course further, they would be able to understand more about SOAP UI and the complex project. Because in the interview, when they'll definitely not ask these simple questions. They'll ask a complex scenario.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, because in demo we cannot cover a lot of things.
No, that I understand. I'm just telling that in the upcoming sessions. Obviously, this was a demo, so the trainer needs to give the brief idea about the UI. So in the upcoming sessions, he can tell about the complex scenario.
Yeah,
of
absolutely.
course.
Absolutely.
I can make sure that all of your queries get resolved, and we will be looking at complex examples as well using Groovy and all. So don't worry about that. Of course.
Okay.
So Ankit, same question from you. What is the best you have found in this demo workshop for yourself?
I guess I'm just new to this web service testing, so SOAP UI currently, so I don't have much knowledge about this. But I have experience on the JMeter, and I have work on the that is the 2TP also. But just wanted to know how this SOAP UI I can use on that. That is why I joined this.
Your voice is very low, Ankit.
Is it okay now?
Yes.
Is that okay?
Yep.
Yeah. So I was saying that I have worked on the QTP's part, and I have worked on this JMeter also, but haven't got any chance to work on the web services with this SOAP UI testing. So just looking how can I use this in my career.
Okay. Okay. Deepak, what about you? Deepak, if your mic is not working, then you can type. Okay. Kanika? Kanika, can you hear us? Okay. Deepak and Kanika, please type because else we will not get to know what you have got from this workshop. Okay. Parmeshwar?
Hello.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, this course is pretty good actually, but moreover I'm looking for REST and Groovy part. Actually, this normal scope I worked in 2 years back. It's looking like same only. Even I feel I don't know. And moreover, I'm looking for workshops. That is my priority.
Yes.
So trainer can give a best answer on this.
Sure, sure. So I can understand your concern, and of course, to start with, as we have to like, so there will be a batch, and we will go in a stepwise manner. So we will start with the concepts, and then the SOAP, and then we will go to the rest. But I'll make sure that rest is also covered in very detail, and of course, like as we discussed in the beginning, we will be looking at the Groovy, and also we'll create the data-driven framework out of Groovy, and so there for the REST web services as well, and for the SOAP web services as well. So of course, like both the SOAP as well as REST is going to be covered in great detail.
Include workshop, friends?
Yes, so for the workshop kind of thing, so basically as we discussed while I was discussing the course outline, so there will be assignments, daily assignments after each topic. So there will be assignment that you have to I mean you have to do, and you have to send me, and then I'll be checking those assignments. So just it can also keep a track, and it will say that okay, you are moving in the right direction, and if you are making some mistakes, so of course I would be able to correct them, and we can see, and of course like there will be whatever queries you have, so those queries will be taken up as the first thing when we are going to start with a new topic for the previous, completed things.
Okay, that would be a great thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Because in after each workshop, the assignment will be given to you, and we will make sure that you will finish the assignment before coming to the next workshop. So you will get a reminder and everything. One, and second is that we are expecting from you in this workshop not only to attend but also complete the assignment whichever is given, because we want that after the workshop you can show at least 1 year of experience in SOAP UI. Otherwise, the company will not entertain your resume on the basis of SOAP UI only. So we make sure that you have that much experience, and that will come only when you will finish the assignments which is given. And also, we will, we will chase you each one of the candidate to complete the assignment. So thank you so much, yeah, Parmeshwar. Now, Rakesh, the same question from you.
I think Rakesh had typed some of the questions. Can we automate web service testing? Yes, yes, we can automate the web services testing. Is it possible to integrate SOAP UI and UFT? So basically, to answer that question, Rakesh, the UFT and SOAP UI are different tools, and in the UFT, you have the provision to test web services. Okay, so I mean, I am not sure why there will be a need to integrate those, because UFT can also test the web services. Okay.
Okay, Rupanshi, the same question from you. What is the best you have found from this workshop?
Yeah, hello. The session was quite interesting as the new users who are not having the basic knowledge of SOAP UI and all. So it was a great understanding for the people, and the real-time examples which you provided were very helpful to get the overview of all that, like the weather forecasting and the e-commerce websites which you provided. So it was very helpful, and you told how to create test suite and all the test cases and all installation. That also was very helpful, and in the upcoming sessions also, I think that it will be very helpful to get the understanding and to become perfect in this. I think it will be helpful to all the users.
Yeah. You are not part of Refer Me Google group, right?
Hello? Yeah?
You are not part of Refer Me Google group.
Google group.
Yeah, Refer Me group you are not part of, I guess.
Actually, I was trying to join, but it is saying that this group is not valid. Some message was coming.
How this is possible, I mean, because this group is running from last 2 to 3 years.
This group is not valid anymore. Something it was coming. That's why I was unable to join.
No, I am not talking about the WhatsApp group. We don't have any WhatsApp group. We have a Google group, whereas we are 6,000 plus professionals on that group. So join that group and then you will. Yeah, so I do one thing. I just separately ping you and take your email ID and then we'll add you.
Okay,
but you will feel that the difference between Refer Me workshop and other workshop is that we do not do each and every workshop on a regular basis like traditional institutes does. We do each workshop on the basis of demand, whatever it is needed or whatever it is in the market. So you will not see in Refer Me group that Selenium is going on in each and every month, right?
Okay.
So the difference.
Okay, actually, I was not aware. Ping me separately, and I will join that group definitely.
Yeah, sure, no problem, no problem.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so then the same question from you. What you have found best for yourself in this demo?
Yeah, the session was quite good. Actually, I'm also new to this tool, SOAP UI. So overall, the session was very good because the presenter showed us the basic things, means what is SOAP UI and what is WSDL, how can we create a new project in this new tool. So overall for a beginner point of thing, you can say that it was a very good session. Means was very helpful. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. So I guess we have done and asked each and everyone. And guys, there is a one more doubt. Usually it comes that in online classes, online workshop, we do not have interaction with the trainer. Like here, we ask each one of you what is your feedback about the demo in the same way we do in our workshop as well. We involve each one of you and random question can be asked with any of you, right? Like we have done our study in nursery classes. So what happened? The teacher just asked question from any of the classes student, right? The same way we follow the rule. It is a very basic rule which is followed in the classes, and we do the same thing. This is not a professional exactly. This is exactly that if we have taken some fees from you, then it is our responsibility to teach you because you have came with some objective, and that is our responsibility to fulfill. So don't feel that in online class you will feel disconnected. Unless and until your doubt is not going to clear, we will not proceed further. Right. So this was all about for today's demo, and after this workshop, just appreciate to yourself that today you have taken 1.5 hour for yourself and to groom yourself that you want to learn something. And believe me, in manual testing, there are only out of 100, only 30 people are automation expert, right? So thanks. Vipin has joined just now. I mean, I guess Vipin, you have missed complete session. We are about to finish. So Vipin, you can check the demo on YouTube. Right. So thanks a lot, guys. And like I said, I was saying that just appreciate to yourself that you decided to change your career. And thanks a lot for joining this workshop and have a good weekend. Yeah, sure, please.
Yeah, I have one question. Like, if any of my friends want to join, if any of my friend is going to join, so I can refer him, right, for the next session.
Yeah, you can refer him. And if you are referring someone, then we have a discount offer.
Okay, sure. Okay, fine.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot, guys. Thank you, Ankit. Thank you, Deepak. Thank you, Parmeshwar. Thank you, Rakesh. Thank you, Rupansi. Thank you, Suren. Thank you, Vipin, for joining today's
Sorry, one question. Selenium integration with Scopul will you cover?
Yeah, so the Selenium, okay, so let me answer that. So basically, so using SOAP UI with Selenium, it can be done, and people who know Selenium, for them it will be like easy thing to do, because like there is a Groovy SDK, and we have to use the Eclipse for that. So basically, when we are dealing with SOAP UI, mostly those tools will not come in, but yes, we'll see if time permits, we can take that as well. Okay.
Vipin, I guess you are not a part of any WhatsApp group, so can you please share your number?
Hello?
Yeah, Vipin, you are not part of any WhatsApp group, so can you please share your number?
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. Just ping me on individual.
I'm the member of the group, of Refer Me group. I think the person of Refer Me group added me on yesterday.
You are on WhatsApp group?
Yes.
Okay. Just share me your number, please.
9041.
Just a moment. Okay. Okay. Sorry? 293575, right?
904. Right.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so thank you so much, guys, for joining today's session, and enjoy the weekend. Very soon we will share other details with all of you, and when we are going to start the workshop.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you so much. Thanks a lot. Take care.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.